Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and guys, I couldn't help myself, right? Like, everybody's been reviewing this foundation. The Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Powder Foundation. Everybody has reviewed this thing, and they're all like, oh, I have dry skin and I love it. I have oily skin and I love it. And I'm like, well, here we go. Like, girls gotta know if it's any good, right? So I went ahead, I picked it up. I'm sorry. Motorcycle, shh, be quiet. So I went ahead, I picked it up. Here she is in her cute little compact. I grabbed the shade R210, and I believe this is the lightest shade they make. So, you know, your girl's about to be real pasty. And this is what she looks like. Let's go ahead and open it up. Boom, right here comes with this little sponge. Let's go ahead and do a little swatch of it. All right, so there she is swatched. There's my bruise that is never gonna go away. I ran into something the other day and it's just like bam, there for days. But here's the foundation, and then here is the sponge. Now, I believe the whole thing going around is that everybody is saying you should apply it with the white side because they're saying the white side just applies really nice. It's kind of like a microfiber feel to it, but then they say on the package that the other side, the black side here, is for full coverage. And now obviously I haven't played around or done anything, but I just think it's interesting going in that this side right here, this microfiber side, it is so freaking soft. Like, oh, that feels gratifying. Okay, let's go ahead and read about it a little bit. I know this foundation review, by the way, is going to be all over the place, and that's just because I was so unprepared for my heart and soul wanting this foundation review. Like, I wanted this. I wanted it. Y'all probably want it / will tolerate it, but I needed to know if it was good. All right, Paige, slow your roll. Let's go ahead and talk about this for a second here. This is a $38 foundation. You get 0.38 ounces of product in the pan itself. Currently on the Sephora website, it has 4.25 out of 5 stars. Now, I'm reading this from the Sephora site because the one on the Makeup Forever site, for whatever reason, won't work. I click the picture of it and it goes to page not found. So I have to read the info off of the Sephora site. I apologize for that. Now, under details for this guy, it says this is a full coverage blurring powder with a lifelike matte finish that blends and breathes with skin for 12-hour wear that never cakes, flakes, or fades. Ooh, that's some good alliteration. It is full coverage matte finish. It is a pressed powder. It is good for normal, dry, combo, and oily. Under the how to use section, this is where I think we're going to learn a little bit here. It says to achieve a fuller coverage application of this foundation, apply it using the sponge side of the enclosed applicator. Using short strokes, begin applying at the center of the face, blending outward and repeating until your desired coverage is reached. Does anybody else, when you're reading, start doing what it says just so you feel like you're doing it? I don't know if I'm the only one, but I do that every time. I'm like, so like this, like, Paige, you've applied foundation how many times? You don't need to practice, but this is what we're doing. And it says for sheerer coverage, use the white side of the enclosed applicator, use sweeping strokes to blend formula into the center of the face and outer edges, repeating as necessary. For buildable coverage, use a more precise application like an artesian brush 124, starting at the center of the face, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I typically am a full coverage queen, so I would be probably a candidate for this black side, although I am curious to play around with this microfiber side because it feels real soft. So I think that's all the information. We're probably ready to just dive in, and let's go ahead and prime the skin first, which you guys know I do like to split my primers. So hello, what is happening here? So I'm just going in on this side with the Tatcha Silk Canvas and pressing it in. It has been quite some time because I know I'm going to get some questions about powder foundation. Do I use it? So on and so forth. And there actually was a long time ago, like probably a year and a half ago at this point, maybe a year and a half ago, I had a full-on powder foundation routine that I used with the MAC powder foundation. Guys, my skin looked freaking flawless when I would do that routine, and it looked so beautiful. Now, I don't do that anymore because back then I had very oily skin, and now I'm more normal to oily. So back then when I would apply it, everything would settle down and it would last. You guys, my skin looked porcelain. Shh, I'm telling a story. Like, I'm talking the kind of porcelain that like dreams are made of if you have big pores. And one of the things I can tell you that was very much so a key to the success of that foundation routine, making sure that I was primed and prepped, and that whatever it is that you have going on your skin, whether you're oil, dry, whatever, making sure that that is counterbalanced before you go in with the powder. On the other side, I'm going to go in with this guy. This is my Peter Thomas Roth Skin to Die For. This is the No Filter Mattifying Primer Complexion correction. And what I like about this is that it's a mattifying primer, but it's not an overly matte primer. It'll do a nice job of both filling in my pores, but also mattifying the area that I set it in. And it's a really nice primer. I use this a lot when I was oily skin, so I'm just taking a tiny amount here. And just like on the other side, I'm going to work it in. All right, now something else you have to keep in mind before you do powder foundation is that you have to do liquid concealer or any type of concealing on the face that you would normally do after foundation before. So I'm gonna grab some concealer. I'm gonna grab my Tarte Shape Tape here in Porcelain Beige, and I am going to run that up under the eyes to give me a little bit, obviously, of concealing, but also a little bit of brightness. Now to go through and do a little bit of spot concealing, I'm going to take a little bit of the Clarins Instant Concealer. This is in the shade 1. This is actually a pretty nice concealer, but it is a little bit deep for my natural skin tone and a little bit deep for this foundation, and I don't want to go in with a deeper concealer than what the foundation is. So I'm going to take a little bit of this, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of my Tarte Shape Tape in Porcelain Beige, and I'm going to use that concoction mixed up to conceal the face. And then I am going to go in prior to the Matte Velvet foundation, and I want to take a little bit of my Hourglass Translucent. I'm going to use that to lightly set under the eyes and very, very lightly set the rest of the face, just so that way I know when I apply the powder foundation, there's not going to be any weird like sticking or clinging to those wet areas. I want to give it as nice a chance as possible to have a nice smooth application. Okay, so I went ahead and I set everything. Now, as you can see, there still is a fair amount of redness and acne poking through. That is 100% intentional, because I didn't want to take away all of the acne and all of the acne marks and not be able to see what kind of coverage this gets, but I also didn't want to leave it all out, because I know that typically with a powder foundation, it can be very difficult to cover up very, very red and intense spots like that. So I figured just dulling them down would be a fair option. Now let's go ahead here, open this up, and there really isn't much else to do prior. We're just going to start taking the black side here, and I'm going to sweep it into the foundation. Boom. And there is a handy little mirror in here as well. That's kind of nice. And I guess we're just gonna do what it says and start swiping. Oh, that's a lot lighter on the face than I thought it would be. Oh my word. I honestly thought it would be a little bit deeper than that. Ooh, girl's gonna need some bronzer. Up close, wow. It does look very smoothing on the skin. Like, wow, smoothing. That's impressive. Like, where'd my pores go? Hello? Gotta make sure we get down here. See what kind of coverage we can build up. Because, see, I do think I'm getting some nice coverage off of this. And truth be told, obviously, I could go like a shade or two deeper because I normally do my foundation a little deep. But I can still see my acne poking through a tiny bit, but not bad at all. I'm actually really impressed with the coverage. It looks very, very nice. I think it's a little bit hilarious, though, that it's so white. Oh my gosh. Like, Paige, are you really this pasty? I'm actually really happy that for once a brand gave us an applicator like this, and the applicator doesn't suck. I don't know if I'm the only person, but I feel like every time a brand is like, use my applicator, it's always one of those stupid little friggin' foam pencil things that comes in like a makeup eyeshadow kit, or it's this really ridiculous little pad like this, but it's crap. And this one is not crap. This one is actually really nice, and it does a beautiful job. Holy crap. I can't get over how pretty this is. Another thing I'm really liking about this is that one of the reasons I quit wearing the MAC foundation powder is because when I would apply it, it looked too thick and too cakey on my skin. And this doesn't look thick or cakey at all, and I feel like I've applied a lot of it, but it looks gorgeous on my skin. Like, really, really pretty. Here's the deal. Far away, obviously, I look like a literal ghost, but let's go ahead and move up real quick. All right, guys, so here we are up close. I'm not sure how much you can tell, minus how powdery my lips look. I don't know how well you can see the difference on camera at this point. I feel like on camera, it's just coming across as a powdery matte foundation, which obviously is what it is. But I really like the fact that while it's on the skin right now and it's just a layer of powder, it still has this really nice way that it's just settling down, and I feel like it's gonna look gorgeous once I set it. Like, right now it looks good up close, but I don't think it's transmitting to camera, and I think once it's all set down, bronzer and all that is on, I really think it's gonna transmit beautifully. So, okay, let's go ahead. Now that we're zoomed out, we're gonna start to bronze. I'm gonna grab my BH Cosmetics Brilliance Bronzer in Golden Gale and my IT Cosmetics Blurring Powder Brush here, just a nice loose duo fiber. I'm going to bronze it up. a lot. Now, it takes a minute to try to counter how white I look. So no matter what, even if I do love this, your girl's gotta order a different shade. Wow. Oh yeah, nose, you definitely need it today, honey. Right now, you look like a beacon of light. Worse than Rudolph, honey. You gotta bronze that business up. I think I'm gonna grab a little bit of my NYX. This is their Sweet Cheeks Glowy Blush in Citrine Rose. I'm gonna grab the Morphe JH01 brush here, per usual, powder foundation or not. And I'm grabbing my Pixi Flawless Finishing Powder. And I'm going to just apply this all over the face, just like I normally would. But while I'm buffing this in, I can definitely tell that I lost a little bit of the coverage over my acne areas, like here and here. There's a little loss of coverage. Where's the other spot? Right over here, there's a little loss as well. So as far as the application and the coverage, I don't think it's bad coverage, but if you have really, really dark red spots or like really bad acne spots that are super red, like mine are, you guys obviously saw them before I applied foundation, you will want to keep that in mind and really go in and 100% conceal those if that's what you're going for. Now, lately, you guys know I haven't had to have like full coverage. I've really been trying to let myself be comfortable whenever I have on like a medium coverage foundation, because I still feel like it looks beautiful, and it's all about just that light conceal for me. Not light like a BB cream light, but light as in it doesn't have to be 100% covered. And I think that's just a personal thing. Everybody has to kind of do that on their own. If you're not comfortable with it, conceal 100%. If you are, this will give you a nice coverage. So if you have, like I said, those type of spots, be mindful. But if you have more on like the rashy red that just comes from rosacea, or you have light pink acne spots or regular acne even, I do think this would cover it, because the coverage is beautiful and it applied really, really nicely. As you guys can see, I have very nice coverage. It's just in those areas that I'm having an issue. So just kind of keep that in mind. So next up, I'm going to grab the Morphe Y11 and a little bit of the Essence Brighten Up powder, and I'm going to just lightly kind of brighten up the under eye. All right, so love where we're at so far. I feel like this is really going quick. I forgot how fast powder foundation is. So next up, I'm gonna go ahead here and throw on brows. This is the Urban Decay Double Down Brow in Neutral Nana, and I'm going to use the Morphe JS7 brush to apply it. All right, and then we're gonna grab a little ABH Dip Brow Gel here in dark brown. Then I'm just gonna grab a little bit of my ABH eye primer here and prime the lids for a little bit. I don't wanna do anything crazy on the lids. I'm not even shaping out the underside of the brows. I'm leaving everything pretty relaxed. But I do want to play around a little bit with this guy from Stila. This is one of the new Suede shade shadows that they released. This is in the shade Enchanted Earth. And I did just do a full review of these. I have the entire collection in front of me. There are 8 shades in total. Again, full video. It has eye swatches, hand swatches, and application for all of them. Through the crease with a fluffy brush, packed onto the lid. You know the drill. And there's an eye look. So I will go ahead and link that video up here if you are curious about these. It's actually a very nice, like, informative, in-depth video. I know I'm a little partial because I made it, but it is super, super informative if you're looking for something that has every single shade they released. But I'm going to grab just the applicator here, and this is the Morphe M504. It's a fluffy blending brush here, and I'm just going to grab a little bit. I left the eye base tacky, and I'm just going to work a little bit of this color all through the crease. Again, nothing too crazy or in depth. And then I'm just going to take a little bit more of it straight from the applicator, and I'm going to press that on the lid and just blend it in with my finger. All right, so now it's time for spray, because I spray before I highlight. So first up, I'm gonna go in here with the Catrice HD Active Performance Spray. And then I'm gonna go in as well with this Pixi Glow On Layering Palette that has something smeared all over the front of it. I don't know what that is. But we're gonna go in with this, and I like to take the shade Clutch first, and I go in with that all over the cheek, and then I highlight a little extra with the shade Lace. I'm gonna apply this here with the Morphe JH05. Oh yeah, girl. Get it going. Get it going. Oh, so pretty. And now we're going to take one more spray from the Catrice. Right, and then we're going to mix this up really good and go in with just a couple sprays of the Pixi Glow Mist. Now, this does have argan oil in it. It is very glowy, very dewy if you have dry skin. This is right up your alley, but I do like to set everything one last time with a glowy product, and this is beautiful. So I'm just going to grab a little. All right, going to go ahead here, curl up these lashes with my Tarte Lash Curler. Then I'm going to go in with a little bit of my Too Faced Damn Girl Mascara. Put this all over these lashes. Get it going. I'm just grabbing a little bit of the Wet n Wild Max Volume Mascara for the lower lash line. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of this Colourpop Lip Liner in BFF3 here. And I'm going to go over top of it, primarily in the center here, with the Staycation shade from the Huda Beauty matte lipsticks here. I don't want a lot of this. I just want a little bit just to lighten it up. The big piece of my heart that will always be in the 90s loves this lip combo. So much. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of the Practical Magic shade from the Smashbox Los Angeles collection here. And okay, that has a little bit more pink in it than I meant, but that's fine. You know what? Don't worry about it. And okay, you guys, this is the finished look. What do you think, first of all, of how the entire thing came together? Because this olive green eye is giving me actual life. I love it with my whole heart. I just realized, though, this brow is a little thinner than this brow. I know I don't really care, but I care just enough that I'm like, probably gonna have to fix that off of camera. But I want to bring you guys in real quick here so you can take a look at what I'm seeing up close. And what I really like about this is actually the way it's sitting on both of my cheeks and around the nose. I've had it smoother, don't get me wrong, from a liquid foundation, but I really like how this is sitting. It's not chunky and it's not kind of coagulating in those areas. And with a liquid foundation, I always have an issue with it kind of separating and getting weird around the crooks and crannies of my nose. And this one isn't doing that nearly as bad. I am having a light amount of settling on my smile lines, but again, nothing too crazy. But overall, guys, I'm really liking how this looks. The tone, like I said when I first started, it is a little bit lighter. I did go through and try to counter it, and I actually think it came out pretty nice given how different it started. So I'm pretty happy overall. I'm gonna go ahead, do my day. I'm gonna wear this for the rest of the day, check in at the end. Y'all know how these go. We're gonna do an up close, talk about the oil, how does it look, how did it wear, all of that good stuff. But for right now, looks good, very lightweight, doesn't look crazy, doesn't feel heavy, and I'm ready to do my day. So hang tight and I will be right back. Okay, you guys, it is officially the end of the day. I've been wearing this makeup for about 7 hours at this point, and I definitely have some thoughts. So let's go ahead and zoom you guys in. I'll go ahead and start the up close looking at myself here. I do think, given in the close-up, you can also see how my smile lines are very much so emphasized. Those are pretty gnarly. I had quite a bit of breakage in that area. My upper and lower like mouth chin area, it looks pretty good. It's not nearly as broken as I have seen with other foundations, which is nice. The nose and between the eyebrows and the forehead actually all look pretty nice as well. So the only area that I'm seeing a lot, I would say, of creasing is just the smile lines. As far as the overall wear of it, it's actually pretty positive. Again, given what I'm used to working with, which is a liquid foundation, I feel like this was right on par and better than a lot of the liquid ones I have tried out recently, which is nice. I think if I had to fix a couple of things, the first thing that I would have to fix for sure would be this smile line creasage. I'm not sure how to go about that just yet. I'll have to do a little investigating. I know that if I was using a liquid foundation, I would set it with a different powder. So for example, that was happening quite a bit with the Pure 4-in-1 Selfie Foundation. I just used this recently when I showed you guys my bronzy summer look, which I can link up there. One of the ways that I've been correcting that creasy smile line with this foundation is to go in and use a different setting powder. Like my Hourglass, for example, is a really nice, robust setting powder, and it works really well at helping with that kind of thing. So I might have to go in and maybe use like a little bit of a concealer in this area and then set it with my Hourglass powder maybe, and then go in with this. Maybe that would help a little bit. And I dive into this real quick here because if you are new here, anytime I do a foundation review, I know it's kind of like a first impression thing, but I do like to tell you guys at the end of every video like this what I would do to make it better, to improve it, to change it up, how I would use it differently next time. So that's kind of why I'm getting into that if you're new here. So I think that would definitely be something I'd have to address. My texture overall looked pretty good today. I do think it looks a little bit more emphasized than I would like. I'm really happy though with the Peter Thomas Roth Pores No More side. It held up beautifully. Arguably, I think it might look a little better than the Tatcha side. So I'm definitely gonna have to play around with the primers a little bit though, because I want to see if I could make it just a little bit more minimized. Maybe it's something as simple as putting a little bit of my concealer and setting that area as well over my Tatcha primer just to really lock it in. But something like that I think could work really well. Just any way to really cement those pores in would be key. But other than the smile lines and my pores being a little bit emphasized, I actually think this foundation wore beautifully. And what I like about this one that's really setting it apart is, oddly enough, the thinness of it and that blurring quality on the skin. It is very, very beautiful. beautiful, and it does stay like that for quite some time, which I really enjoy. Now, just something for me personally, I do like to wear my foundations 1 to 2 shades deeper, and then I kind of go in and make them corrected like for my skin tone. And I do that for a lot of reasons. Number one, I always like to look a little, like a touch deeper than I am in real life. But what ends up happening a lot of times, if I go in with a foundation, whether it's liquid or powder, that's too light for my skin tone, it can start to pull very like ashy or chalky or like dead-like right in this region. And I don't know if that happens to anybody else, but I swear it's only when I use a foundation that's very, very light on my skin tone. No matter how much I go in and I make it blend in and I can make it look nice on my skin, or it's even really close, if not my actual color, because truth be told, this foundation wasn't that far off from my actual color. But what happens, and I don't know if it's just me, but it's just in this region, and throughout the day when I look at it in certain lights, I'm kind of like, ew, like it looks chalky, it looks very dead, and I don't love that. And so a lot of times that can be very easily corrected just by going in with a slightly deeper shade. But that's just a personal thing, you know, with me. The other stuff is all corrective. That's just something I would do to make the tone something I like a little bit better, a little bit warmer, a little bit more lifelike, because I don't know, for me, I feel like going with my natural skin tone, it might match, like in theory it might match nicely, but just it never ends up wearing the same. You know what I mean? I don't know. You guys can let me know down below if that happens to you. But you guys, that's it for this one. Let me know what you think down below. Is this something you were curious about? Were you waiting for my review? Are you overall super intrigued by this? Because I know I was, you guys. I was like, I need to get in on that action. Like, these are some beautiful people that are endorsing this foundation, and I want to be one of the beautiful people. So like, let me in on your secret. Now, while you're down in those comments leaving me all your thoughts, don't forget to also check me out on Instagram and on Twitter. They are both linked down below in the description box. And if you haven't done so yet, you can also subscribe and turn on your post notifications for this here YouTube channel. I do upload 5 videos a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They go up bright and early between 6 and 7 a.m. my time here in Northern Michigan, girl. You guys, that is it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Makeup, makeup forever. Makeup, makeup forever. I'm gonna test out some makeup forever. If I can get the website to load, hey. And if you haven't done so yet, you can also subscribe and turn on your post notifications for this here YouTube channel. I grab the shade 14. Bing, ding, ding, bing, ding. Also, who loves my lipstick being like this? I look like the Joker. Look at how far out that goes. It's like, And that's all because your girl got a little bit too messy at dinner. And then I was like wiping my mouth like this. You ever just like grab your napkin and you're just like, and you wipe the whole thing and you're just like, whoa, I just wiped off all of this foundation. Yeah, I had one of those moments. Swiper, no swiping.